They look at you with pity. You know the look. You were at a family gathering, or a wedding, or just sitting at a bar with your old friends, and they ask you the question that is supposed to make you feel small. So, seeing anyone special? And when you say no, they tilt their head. They give you that sad smile. They say, "Don't worry, you'll find someone soon." They act like you were sick. They act like you were missing a piece of your soul. They think that because you are alone, you must be lonely. But they don't know what you know. They don't know the secret that is keeping a smile on your face when you wake up in a quiet house on a Saturday morning. They don't know that while they are arguing about money at 8 a.m., while they are asking for permission to go play golf, while they are walking on eggshells because their wife is in a mood, you are making coffee in silence. You are planning your day. You are looking at your bank account, and the number is going up, not down. You are looking at your passport, and you realize you can go anywhere, anytime, without asking anyone. They think you are a failure. But deep down, they're terrified that you are the only one who is actually free. Today, we are going to break down the psychology of the happily single man. We are not talking about the man who is single because he can't get a girl. That is a different story. We are talking about the man who could have a woman, but chooses peace instead. We are talking about the man who realized that the game is rigged, so he stopped playing. Most men are terrified of being alone. Society has brainwashed us. From the time we are little boys, we are told that the ultimate goal of life is to find the one. Movies tell us, songs tell us, our mothers tell us, you need a good woman to settle you down. Behind every great man is a great woman. Is that true? Or is it a sales pitch? Because when you look around the modern world, when you look at the divorce courts, when you look at the men who are losing their houses and their children, it doesn't look like greatness. It looks like slavery. Let me tell you a story about a man named Alan. Alan is the cautionary tale. Alan is the loser in this game, not because he's a bad guy, but because he followed the script. Alan was terrified of being alone. He hit 30 and all his friends were getting married. He felt left behind. He felt like a failure. So he lowered his standards. He met a woman named Cheryl. She was okay. She wasn't his dream girl. She was demanding. She didn't like his hobbies. She wanted him to sell his motorcycle. But Alan thought, well, it's better than being single. He married her. Fast forward 5 years, Alan is miserable. He works 60 hours a week to pay for a house he didn't want, filled with furniture he didn't pick. Cheryl nags him from the moment he walks in the door. Why are you late? You didn't take out the trash. Alan sits in his car in the driveway for 20 minutes every night just to get a moment of silence before he goes into the war zone. He looks at his single friends, the guys he used to pity, and he feels a burning jealousy. He realizes that he sold his freedom for a warm body, and the price was too high. Alan is trapped. He can't leave because he will lose half his stuff. He can't stay because he's losing his mind. He's a prisoner of his own fear of loneliness. Now, let's flip the coin. Let's look at a winner. Let's talk about James. James is 35. He's fit. He has a good job. He dresses well. Women look at him. They want him. But James has the glow. The glow is the energy of a man who does not need anything from anyone. James dates, sure. He goes out for dinner. He has fun. But when a woman starts bringing drama, when she starts playing games, James doesn't argue. He doesn't beg. He just smiles and says, "It was nice meeting you." And he walks away. He goes home to his clean apartment. He puts on his favorite record. He pours a drink. He reads a book. James is not lonely. He is in solitude. There's a massive difference. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. Solitude is the glory of being alone. James knows that his peace is more valuable than her validation. He knows that he is the prize, and because he is so willing to walk away, women go crazy for him. They chase him. They try to lock him down. But James holds the key to his own cell, and he's very careful about who he lets in. You have to understand the scarcity mindset versus the abundance mindset. Most men live in scarcity. They think good women are rare. They think intimacy is rare, so they grab the first thing that comes along and hold on tight, even if it burns them. The happily single man lives in abundance. He knows that the world is full of people. He knows that his value comes from his mission, not his relationship status. He doesn't need a woman to complete him. He is already a complete circle. A woman can be a complement, but never the center. Let's talk about the biology of this. Men are built for mission. We are built to hunt, to build, to conquer. Women are built for nesting, for nurturing, for relationships. When a man makes a relationship his main mission, he goes against his nature. He becomes soft. He becomes weak. The happily single man puts his mission first. Maybe he's building a business. Maybe he's training for a marathon. Maybe he's learning a new language. His energy goes into creation, not maintenance. Most relationships are just maintenance. You're constantly fixing leaks, painting over cracks, trying to keep the structure standing. Imagine if you took all that emotional energy, all the hours you spent arguing, apologizing, explaining, and put it into your bank account. Imagine if you put it into your body. You would be a millionaire with a six-pack. That is what the happily single man figures out. He realizes that the ROI on himself is higher than the ROI on a partner. I want to tell you about a real-life realization that changed everything for a guy I know. Let's call him Mike. Mike was a serial dater. He jumped from one girlfriend to the next. He couldn't go a month without a good morning text. Then he got his heart broken badly. The girl cheated on him, took his dog, left him in a mess. Mike decided to take 1 year off. No dating, no apps, no nothing. Monk mode. The first month was hell. He felt empty. The second month was boring. But by the 6th month, something clicked. He started waking up with energy. He started saving money like crazy because he wasn't buying dinners and gifts. He bought a guitar. He learned to play. He started traveling solo. He went to Japan. He sat in a ramen shop in Tokyo alone and felt a rush of pure joy. He realized, I am okay. I am enough. When his year was up, he went back to dating, but he was different. He wasn't hungry anymore. He was full. He met a beautiful woman. She started acting up on the second date, being rude to the waiter. Old Mike would have excused it. New Mike looked at her and said, I don't think this is a match. He didn't fear losing her because he knew he liked his own company better than bad company. This is the superpower, the power to walk away. If you are afraid of being single, you have no power in a relationship. You are a hostage. If you love being single, you are the boss. You are negotiating from a position of strength. But society hates this. Society hates a man who doesn't need a woman. Why? Because a man who doesn't need a woman is hard to control. He doesn't need to buy the diamond ring. He doesn't need to buy the big house in the suburbs to impress the neighbors. He doesn't need to work a job he hates to support a lifestyle he doesn't want. He's a glitch in the matrix. They call him immature. They call him afraid of commitment. Let them talk. The lion does not care about the opinion of the sheep. There is a dark side to this, too. I have to be honest. There are men who claim to be happily single, but are actually just bitter. They hate women. They sit in their basements and write angry comments on the internet. All women are gold diggers. All women are cheaters. That is not happiness. That is trauma. The truly happily single man does not hate women. He loves women. He just loves his freedom more. He appreciates beauty. He enjoys company, but he does not invite chaos into his house. He's like a man who enjoys the ocean. He likes to swim. He likes to surf, but he doesn't want to drown. And he knows that if he isn't careful, the ocean can pull him under.
So, what is the secret? What do these men know that you don't? They know that peace is the new luxury. In a world that is loud, chaotic, and demanding, silence is expensive. To come home to a house where nobody is mad at you, that is worth more than a Ferrari. To make a decision without having a committee meeting, that is power. I want you to audit your life right now. If you are in a relationship, look at your stress levels. Are you stressed about work or are you stressed about her? If you are single, look at your fear. What are you actually afraid of? Are you afraid of dying alone? Newsflash, we all die alone. Even if you are married for 50 years, one of you goes first. Are you afraid of not having kids? That is valid, but remember, having kids with the wrong woman is a fate worse than death. It is 18 years of child support, custody battles, and your child being used as a weapon against you. The happily single man does the math. He looks at the probability. If I marry, there is a 50% chance of divorce. Of the 50% that stay married, how many are actually happy? Maybe 10%? So you are betting half your assets on a 10% chance of happiness. Would you take that bet in a casino? Would you bet your house on a roulette wheel with those odds? No. You would call it a scam. But when it's called marriage, men line up to take the bet. The men who walk away from the table aren't cowards, they are smart investors. We need to talk about the validation trap. Men are taught that their worth comes from female approval. If a pretty girl likes me, I must be a good man. This is why you see rich, successful guys dating women who treat them like trash. They need the trophy to prove they made it. The happily single man validates himself. He looks in the mirror and says, I am a beast. He looks at his bank account and says, I am a provider for myself. He doesn't need a woman to clap for him. He claps for himself. And ironically, this confidence makes him incredibly attractive. Women can smell neediness. It smells like desperation. They can also smell self-sufficiency. It smells like security. When you don't need them, they want to be around you. They want to know why you are so happy. They want to be part of the club. But you have to keep the velvet rope up. You have to be the bouncer of your own life. We are going to go deeper in the next part. We need to talk about the specific habits of these men. How do they handle the lonely nights? How do they handle the pressure from family? And most importantly, how do they build a life so good that a relationship would actually be a downgrade? We need to talk about the downgrade filter. This is the filter that saves your life. When you build a life that is full of hobbies, full of money, full of peace, full of good friends, your baseline for happiness becomes very high. Let's say your single life is an 8 out of 10. You wake up happy, you sleep well, you have money in the bank. Then you meet a woman. She is pretty, she is fun, but she brings drama. She brings insecurity, she brings debt. If she enters your life, your happiness score drops from an 8 to a 6. Why would you make that trade? A businessman wouldn't sell a profitable company to buy a failing one just because everyone else is buying failing companies. Yet, men do this with their hearts every day. They trade a peaceful 8 for a chaotic 6 because they are afraid of the 0. The happily single man knows that a relationship must be an upgrade. If she doesn't add value, if she doesn't bring peace, support, and loyalty, she is a liability, and you cut liabilities, you don't marry them. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the lonely nights. Critics will say, oh, it's easy to be tough on YouTube, but what about Sunday night when the house is empty? This is real, I won't lie to you. Biology is strong. There will be nights when you want a warm body next to you. There will be moments when you see a family walking in the park and you feel a pang in your chest. But you have to distinguish between loneliness and boredom. Most men aren't lonely. They're just bored. They have no mission. They come home, sit on the couch, watch Netflix, and think, I wish a girl was here. If you were building a business, if you were training for a triathlon, if you were writing a book, you wouldn't have time to be lonely. You would be exhausted and fulfilled. Purpose kills loneliness. If you feel lonely, it is a signal from your brain that you are underutilizing your potential. You are looking for a woman to fill the void that your ambition should be filling. Let's look at the crab bucket theory. You know what crabs do? If one crab tries to crawl out of the bucket, the other crabs pull him back down. Your married friends, your family, society, they are the crabs. When they see you free, happy, and traveling, it triggers their regret. They look at their own lives, the mortgage, the nagging wife, the screaming kids, and they wonder, did I make a mistake? That thought is too painful for them. So instead of admitting they might have settled, they try to pull you down. When are you going to grow up? You can't party forever. Don't you want a legacy? They frame your freedom as immaturity so they can feel better about their captivity. The happily single man sees this trap. He smiles at the crabs. He doesn't argue with them. He just keeps climbing out of the bucket.
Let's talk about a real-life winner. Let's talk about Thomas. Thomas is 48. He never married. He has no kids. By societal standards, he is a failure. But let's look at Thomas's life. Thomas is an architect. He owns a beautiful cabin by a lake, paid for in cash. He has a workshop where he restores vintage motorcycles. He spends 3 months a year in Italy because he loves the food. He dates. He has beautiful women in his life. But he has a rule. My house is my sanctuary. He doesn't let them move in. He keeps his space. Thomas looks 35. He has no stress lines on his face. He laughs loud. He has a circle of brothers who respect him. When Thomas dies, he will leave his money to a charity that teaches kids how to build. That is his legacy. Is Thomas a failure? Or is he the only one who figured out how to win the game? Now let's look at the real-life loser. Let's talk about Kevin. Kevin was Thomas's friend. Kevin was afraid of being 40 and single. At 32, he met a woman who pressured him. "My biological clock is ticking," she said. Kevin panicked. He proposed. They had 2 kids. Then the market crashed. Kevin lost his job. He became depressed. His wife didn't support him. She attacked him. "You're a loser. You can't provide." She divorced him, took the house, and moved her new boyfriend in. Kevin is now 45. He lives in a basement apartment. He pays $2,000 a month in alimony. He sees his kids every other weekend, and they treat him like a stranger. Kevin did everything society told him to do. He followed the script, and the script destroyed him. Thomas wrote his own script, and Thomas is free. This brings us to the concept of the wall for men. We talk about the wall for women when their beauty fades, but men have a wall too. But ours is a wall of success. If you spend your 20s and 30s chasing women, spending money on dates, getting heartbroken, you hit a wall of mediocrity. You wake up at 40 with nothing to show for it. But if you spend your 20s and 30s being happily single, building your body, your bank account, your skills, you break through the wall. At 40, you are a king. You are at your peak earning potential. You're mature. You're confident. And suddenly, the dating market flips. The 25-year-old women aren't looking for the 25-year-old broke boys. They're looking for the 40-year-old king. The happily single man plays the long game. He sacrifices the short-term pleasure of a girlfriend in his 20s for the long-term power of a patriarch in his 40s. But you have to be disciplined. Being single is not an excuse to be a slob. If you are single, fat, broke, and playing video games 12 hours a day, you are not going your own way. You are just losing. You are an incel, involuntarily celibate, masquerading as a Sigma male. To be happily single, you must be success single. Your freedom must produce fruit. If you have all this free time and energy, show me the results. Show me the business. Show me the physique. Show me the skills. If you have nothing to show for your freedom, you wasted it. Let's talk about intimacy without slavery. The happily single man is not a monk unless he chooses to be. He understands that he can have female companionship without signing a contract that gives away half his life. He understands frame control. When he enters a relationship, even a casual one, he sets the terms. I value my time. I value my peace. If you disrupt that, you are gone. He doesn't say this to be mean. He says it to be clear. And surprisingly, women respect this. Women are tired of weak men who bend with the wind. They crave a man who is a mountain, unmovable. When you are willing to walk away at any moment, you become the most attractive man in the room.
We need to discuss the legacy argument. But who will remember you when you're gone? Who will carry on your name? This is a valid biological drive. But ask yourself, is having a child who hates you because of a messy divorce a good legacy? Is having a child who watches his father be humiliated by his mother a good legacy? Legacy is more than DNA. Sir Isaac Newton never married. He died a virgin. His legacy is physics. Nikola Tesla never married. His legacy is electricity. Beethoven never married. His legacy is music. You don't need a biological child to leave a mark on the world. You can build something that lasts longer than flesh and blood. And if you do want children, being happily single until you find the perfect mother is the best way to ensure that legacy is protected. Don't rush the legacy and ruin the bloodline with a toxic partner. The conclusion. The red pill of freedom. Once you taste the peace of solitude, it is very hard to go back to the noise of a bad relationship. You realize that love is often just a fancy word for attachment. You realize that you were trying to fill a hole in your heart with a person when you should have filled it with purpose. The happily single man is dangerous to the system because he cannot be manipulated. You can't shame him. You can't threaten him with loneliness. You can't sell him products he doesn't need to impress a wife he doesn't like. He is off the grid of social expectations. He walks down the street with a light step. He looks at the stressed-out dads dragging screaming kids through Target, and he feels no envy. He feels compassion. And he feels relief. He goes home. He pours a glass of wine. He looks out the window at the city, and he realizes that he has conquered the greatest enemy of all, the fear of being alone. I want you to take a hard look at your life today. Are you chasing a relationship because you want one, or because you're afraid of the silence? Embrace the silence. In the silence, you find yourself, and once you find yourself, you will never be lonely again. I want you to ask you a question, and I want you to be brutally honest in the comments. What is the bullet you dodged? Tell me about the relationship you almost got trapped in that would have ruined your life if you hadn't walked away. Let's share these stories. Let's remind the other brothers why freedom is worth the fight. Your story might save a man who is thinking about texting his toxic ex right now. Brothers, if you made it this far, you are the chosen ones. My ex-girlfriend, the one who tried to break me, she laughed when I started this channel. She said I wouldn't even reach 100K subscribers. She said men are desperate and weak. She's watching this right now, hoping we fail. I need a small favor. Help me prove her wrong. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. Let's show her what men can do when we realize we don't need them to be happy. Stay strong, stay free, and remember, it is better to be alone in a tent than with a devil in a mansion. See you in the next video.